Well, hello there. My name's Ian, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, joining me today is my friend Pontus from Sweden, Jaco from Italy, and of course, Bill Camarada from Bill's Box of Sound and the Zappa Cast. So, we're here on Franksgiving. Well, actually, it's the day after Franksgiving, but we're going to call it Franksgiving today. Or as it's known in the States, Black Napkins Day or Black Friday Day. So today we're going to be talking about. See, I prepared. We're going to be talking about the latest release from Zappa and Universal Records, and you can see him behind me and behind Bill, and that's the Halloween 1978 box set. This box set compiles two shows from Frank's 1978 run, namely the first show, which is October 27th, correct? And then the final show, which is the big one, the epic 4-hour extravaganza that has been teased in different iterations. Like we've had the Halloween set, the 5.1 thing. We've had different parts of this show up on You Can't Do That on Stage Anymore, mostly Volume 6. But this concert has been something of a legend among Zappa fans and was traded in the bootleg circuit and such. Now it's out in all of its glory and splendor for us to discuss. So I guess I'll just open the floor and say, hey guys, what do we think of this? Has it been worth the wait? I'll turn it over to you. Okay. Pontus, you can go first.
I can closest to me. I think it's wonderful. I think releasing complete shows brings us the opportunity as second generation fans, because I'm born in 72, so I discovered Frank in 1990. I never got to see him. He was here in 88, as everybody knows. And to hear complete shows gives us a view of the highs and sometimes lows of those shows. I mean,
sure,
this is how it was. This is the because he was an expert in editing. He could edit to get what he wanted out of something, and sometimes he edited. I just discovered, for instance, that on the You Can't Do That on Stage Volume 1, the Don't You Eat That Yellow Snow is an edit of 2 shows, because the poetry four shows. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But the poetry thing is not it's a separate thing from the beginning of the piece. So he was an expert in that. Now we have the complete shows. It's wonderful to know that some of this is so immaculate. It's so fantastic. All the band is fantastic. I have 3 words for you, and that's his Vinnie Colaiuta, Vinnie Colaiuta, and Vinnie Colaiuta. I mean, he's such an expert on playing, and this is his first tour. He got even wilder a year later, yeah. But he really gives this a fundamental backbone to all the music. He's there. He's ripping it up. He's giving Frank the opportunity to shine. He also assists the other band members. The keyboard solos and Ed Mann's percussion, and of course the second star of this show is El Shankar. The duels between those two. Between Frank and him. So that Vinny's expertise and his playing is just fantastic. He had big shoes to follow. He joins after Terry Bozzio and really excels. And the sound of the record, the sound of the concerts are fantastic. The mix is just it's just beautiful. It's warm. It's in your face. Everything. It's clear, and you're really there. Once you use your headphones, you're really at the concert. So that is a very good that is a fantastic sort of feeling on both of these shows.
Yeah, I would agree with everything you just said, because like last night, I think I started with disc 2 because I heard disc 1 a few nights ago, and Dynamo Hum starts disc 2. And, that's not necessarily one of my favorite live numbers. I love it on the studio album, but some of the live versions can get a little bit belabored. But I was just listening to Vinny on that song. I'm like, oh my God, this has got to be one of the best versions, just listening to what Vinny brings. And kind of to your point about the sound quality, this was Joe Ciccarelli. Is that how you say his name? Who is the recording engineer. And he would later go on to work on Joe's Garage, although I think I read Frank fired him. But still, like, Joe's Garage is one of those most immaculately recorded albums. And, you can hear that with this band starting all the way back here.
And it's a strange band.
Z's here.
All right.
I said, Z's here. He says, hey, Ian and Star Panel.
Oh.
Hello, Z.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Z. This is the guy who is clamoring for this live stream more than anybody else. So this is our gift to you.
But I like your observation of Frank with the razor blade and his editing genius, and later on when he got into digital technology, his expertise editing with the computer as well. Just creating different performances that sounded like spontaneous events. And I've been really enjoying the individual concerts that have been released as part of other sets as well. And I had always heard about how wonderful this Halloween show was supposed to be. And when it finally comes out, I had no idea how special it was. Just
same here,
blown away by the 4-hour Halloween show.
Yeah, I have to credit these two guys here, Jaco and Pontus, for kind of talking me into picking this up, because I wasn't going to. Like, I kind of had this like attitude, like, I wanted the Bongo Fury set. I'm more into the earlier bands, and this is going to be too expensive, and all of that just nonsense. And I think I did a video with Pontus, and Pontus was like, no, Ian, you don't know what you're talking about. You've got to hear this thing. And I'm happy to say that, Pontus was right. Jaco was right. Of course. I was absolutely blown away by it. And here's the other thing. Prior to this being released, there was kind of this discussion among fans that like the early show was somehow the weakest of the run. Now, you guys can debate this because I'm sure you've heard audience recordings and stuff, but I actually find that there are some things that I like better on the early show. And a lot of that is like the shorter songs. Like I mean, not necessarily a shorter song, but something like the Yellow Snow Suite, I think I like better on the first show. Whereas the second show picks up on these more exploratory improvisation moments. That Black Napkins that finishes the run is astonishing. That version of Packard Goose is, I mean, fantastic. Maybe as good as the record.
I mean, it answers questions where why he never used those recordings on. You can't do that on stage anymore. Packard Goose could go in there. Could you just take snippets out of it and just made called it something else and just had the instrumental thing, right? But
were you going to say something, Jaco?
Of course, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that it's not like the first show is a bad one, but it's pretty unremarkable in the Halloween context, because it's just a normal show for that band. And the fact that we don't have Ike Willis singing because he was fired from pretending to be sick and then, drinking. So it's a good show. And I think it's a nice bonus alongside the big one. But when they will get to the other shows from the run, which I think Joe said that the plan is that they're going to release them, right? We're going to get the other shows of the run. Okay, you'll find out that the other shows are better than the first because they sound a little bit in a rush. It's still pretty good. I do like that Pound for the Brown on the first show. You know, that 20-minute version of it.
That's the highlight. That's the highlight of the first show for me.
It's pretty great, and the performances overall, you know, it's a solid performance. And I think maybe the downside of having a 4-hour show like the big one is that you can rarely listen to all of it in one setting unless you have 4 hours of free time, because it's a lot to bite. So if you want to have something really, a quick fix of late 78 Zappa, that first show is okay. But this said, compared to the Chicago show they released 10 years ago or something, I think that one too is better than the first show. So it's all a matter of perspective. I'm glad we got all of this. And let me tell you that way before I was on the internet, I used to buy bootlegs, you know, homemade press CDs when I could find them. And one of my most prized possessions was a 3 CD set called Happy Halloween 1978, which was an audience recording of the big one. And to put it politely, it sounded like shit. But the show was really, really enjoyable even back then. So having, you know, being able to hear this and pristine sound quality is really something for me. And not all of it works, in my opinion. And there are some sections like that Mystics thing. I'm not really a fan of that kind of stuff on stage with Zappa. You know, when he would interrupt the flow of the music to insert something.
You can either play a show or sign autographs. Can't do both.
Yeah. There are moments like that, which I mean, it's fine to hear. I guess it's fine to have Warren Cucurullo on stage rambling about getting it on with the transvestite for 8 minutes, but it's not something that I want to listen to every day.
Of course, it worked at the concert, but it doesn't work outside the concert, right?
Yeah,
it's like the dance contest on the first show. You can almost feel like Frank is regretting it halfway through. You know, it gets so messy that because he wants to do this sort of go back to the Garrick Theatre thing, right? With what
he
they
makes
do.
a reference to that, right?
Yeah. But
Love and Leopold.
You could feel that it's not his crowd. You know, he was in that in '67. He was part of that crowd, and now it's people he doesn't know, and he doesn't know how to really get it across, and it's a bit messy. And I also think that the last section where she is her story, Miss X story. No, the other Nancy. I think that has been edited out for good reason.
Yeah. I have that on a bootleg tape. It's high use. I mean, it's just as well that they edited it out. It's I think it involved Frank Zappa and a horse or something like that. And we're probably, if you want to monetize this video, we should probably not get into what was there on the unedited version. It's it's not really the kind of thing that I would like to preserve on on an official album. But then again, if it's a complete show, we should have everything. So
but
two things I want to mention. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So two things I want to mention. So we've had a couple of comments. Jaco's audio. We know we're aware of the issues. He was having problems with his tech. So you're just going to have to roll with us on this if that's all right with you guys. We would rather have him here than not. So just I ask your patience there. And I wanted to mention something else. Oh shoot. This is the problem with live streams is I get distracted. Oh, my friend Larry Shore, who some of you may have seen him on my channel before. He was on the Cardiacs video, which Pontus was a participant in. He wrote me a message this morning or yesterday about these audience participation moments. And he's like, how well does Frank translate to just audio? Because so much of that was about being there and seeing what was going on. And I got to be honest, because I didn't have time to sit down and answer Larry, but I got to be honest in talking about this show. Those things are here. Those moments do exist in this concert where you're like, gee, if I could see it, it would be more entertaining. But I feel like there's so much tasty music stuff going on all around that ultimately it's worth sitting through those moments. And in some cases, Joe's made it easy to skip over these things. Like the Nancy story is its own track. There's that little bit of audience participation in the Yellow Snow Suite that if you just skip to St. Alfonso, you'll miss it. So it is possible to kind of ride your fast forward or your skip button to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm checking comments here.
I've got a bootleg of the big one right here that was downloaded off the internet a million years ago, and yet you're right. The audio quality is very much below par, but up until now, this was the only way to get it, and it says here instead of Nancy, it says fantasy from a girl in the audience.
Right.
Sounds like a classical music title.
Go back and listen to this and compare the differences between that and Nancy on the official version.
So we did have an interesting question here. Just going up through. Z says, favorite, you can't do that on stage anymore. No, 2 doesn't count as it's one concert. It's not one concert, is it?
Right, it's 3 of them.
Creation.
It's
3.
All right. So I thought it was 2, but it's 3.
Right.
I would go with the number 1. I think that is a good introduction to Frank's music. It's a live greatest hits in the sense that it proves what he's capable of, what Frank Zappa was about, rather than a studio greatest hits. It's fun. There's a lot of things happening. I also have a soft spot for Volume 4, which I think was I love the Evil Prince thing, for instance, the Tiny Sick Tears, and a lot of that. So 1 and 4 for me.
Hey, Jaco, I just saw that you entered the chat again. Should we take your audio track only or what?
Yeah, because I think I'm trying to. The problem is that I don't know if they will be in sync, but try to access with my computer so that you get the visuals from the mobile phone. But I don't know if it's gonna work.
Yeah, I don't know how the syncing is gonna work, but maybe we could take you just audio only. Would you be okay with that?
Well.
Can you hear me now?
Hang on a second here, folks. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, this is all live. So
that's much better. We're so professional.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So Jaco, since you've got the floor, what's your favorite stage volume?
Okay. I'm gonna hand it over to Bill because I'm gonna do something else.
Okay.
So bear with me for a second.
No problem. I'll take over from here. My favorite installment of You Can't Do That on Stage Anymore, and it's mostly for the second disc, is number 5. And where number 5 is it's another assembled concert from, I believe, the 82 tour of Europe.
Oh yeah.
And I from what I've read, it was the first time that Frank was able to get control of the digital editing so that he could go from one show to another, one song to another, and make it sound as though it was one full performance. And the performances on that show, you could release that as its own live album and I'd buy it.
Yeah.
I just love that disc on You Can't Do This Stage Anymore, Volume 5.
Volume, I love the first disc as well on Volume 5 because it's really the mothers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it proves how much music there were between, at the other end, each end of the spectrum of Frank's career, because it goes from 65 and then you have the 82 set, which is just phenomenal. I mean, it's the Red Unsel and the Black Page solo and the even the end where he's just pissed off to someone threw cigarettes on stage. It's just fantastic. Easy Meat is a fantastic version. I mean,
it is.
It is fantastic.
Yeah,
well, I was going to say that Volume 6.
No, I was just repeating what Frank said at the end of the disc. That's it. Show's over.
House lights.
I was reading an account from this 78 tour where Frank was trying to get people on their feet during a Dynamo hum or something like that. He says, all right, if that one guy in the audience isn't going to get up and dance, we're ending the show. And he does. Frank, okay, we're done. that guy ruined it. Maybe it was like an urban legend or something like that, but it was still a story. So
okay, I think you can hear me now, right?
Oh yeah, you're loud and clear.
Loud and
clear. Johnny
Johnny
says, "Way to go, Jaco." So you're in good shape, man. So I was just going to take the opportunity to say that Volume 6 is, I think, my favorite, just because it's so much fun. And Volume 6 also ties into the Halloween conversation because I think you got parts of 77 on there. You got 78. Though. Oh, that's right.
I didn't.
Well, you passed it to Bill. Quick.
Oh yeah, but I was going to answer anyway. But...
Your turn.
Yeah. All right. My favorite is Volume 5 anyway, because that was one of the first Zappa albums I've ever heard. Believe it or not, Volume 5. And the Mother's Disc is my favorite CD of all the series. So that's my question in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. It's I think this said I think it's long overdue that we get an 82 release, because that's the only thing we have from 82. That CD.
Yeah, and Johnny agrees with you.
Yeah, and I think this is the perfect opportunity to say that if you guys haven't seen the When Zappa Comes to Sicily documentary, you should absolutely go see that, because it's very emotional, and you get to see not pro-shot video, but videos of the Palermo show with professional audio. And it's incredible. It's an incredible show, even in spite of the riots. So I agree with Johnny. A full 82 Italy 2 release would be a massive release. I would love that one.
Yeah, we've been clamoring for that for a few years, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Jaco, you got the Funky Nothingness thing released, so all you got to do is just keep talking about it, man.
Well, here's the thing. One of the things that I never did, one of the many things that I've started to do and then never completed, and I don't think I'm going to finish, was working on a book on Frank Zappa shows in Italy. So was actually researching information about every single concert he did over there, and I found newspaper articles from back to 82 to all the concerts he did on the tour. So if Joe is watching and he needs a help with the liner notes for that possible box set, there's someone who's already researching that kind of stuff. So come in.
Absolutely.
I think I'm out of sync with the visuals, right?
Yeah, you are a little out of sync, because I was starting to talk about Volume 6, I think, and you were like, "Hey, I got to say something," and I think it was kind of a sync problem, but I was like, "Why is he interrupting me?" So I'll just finish off what I was saying about Volume 6. So there's a little bit of each of these Halloween runs on Volume 6, which I think is really fascinating. I don't think we get any of 73, but we do get 77, 78, and 81. And I just think that particular volume is a lot of fun. So if I'm going to be reaching for one over Helsinki, that's probably going to be the one for me. So back to Halloween 78. So what are your guys' favorite performances from this? Can you pick like that's my favorite solo, or that's my favorite jam?
I like the Pound for Brown into 13.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 13 appears again in a little house I used to live in.
I caught that last night. Yeah,
they go into that vamp again. So they found something and they just continue with it. And it's continuously amazing that they just felt that, oh yeah, I'll get back to that. One of the funniest things is a Pound for Brown on the first concert. It's just fantastic, and it goes into this jazzy stuff. And where do we end up? We end up in Bobby Brown, of all things. It just says a lot of those. What Frank could do, he could go from this intellectual stuff, which he says, and then he goes down to Bobby Brown and Dynamo Hum and all that stuff. I mean, Don't Cry on Somebody's Shoulder.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Little Rubber Girl.
Little Rubber Girl, yeah. The only thing I miss is the dynamic male vocalist. I really, as he says in stage 1, I really miss Ike, and I really miss another guitarist.
Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah, because the rhythm guitar is a little bit subdued compared to other Frank concerts. And yeah, I think Ike Willis would have helped a lot. Now, I ordered Chicago 78. It just didn't arrive prior to the conversation, but I'm very eager to hear that concert.
It's bloody good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you wonder, he starts singing, Frank starts singing Sofa, and you really wish Ike to be there.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to the studio version of Sofa, it's 3 voices, and it's multi-layered, and it's pretty hard to sing. It's quite demanding,
mm-hmm.
to pull through.
Yeah.
So that's a weird one, but at the same time we'll get Puckered Goose. So it goes from this. Yeah, they try and test things, and you get Suicide Chump, which is just fantastic as well, which they changed the tempo on midway through, and that's just it's a great show. You understand why you wanted to be there.
Yeah,
and
I really particularly enjoy like Watermelon and Easter Hay, I think is the one I'm thinking of, where Frank's playing the melody and Shankar is kind of harmonizing him, but it's off time, like just ever so slightly. It's not even like a beat difference. It's just like an echo. And I was listening to that. I thought, did they work that out prior to the show? Was that intentional, or was that Shankar just kind of going with it? Was he just flowing with what Frank was doing? But it sounds like it could have been intentional. It sounds like it belongs.
It sounds like they were just trying to get into each other's brains.
Yeah.
I think they improvised that. I don't think they did any kind of rehearsal with Shankar. I was also going to mention Watermelon and Easter Ray because the way it is placed on the show, it's like after 20 or 30 minutes of complete madness, and then you get the calm after the storm. It's so cathartic. It's beautiful.
Mm.
And I will also mention that that version of Stinkfoot is also pretty sick. The guitar solo at the end is pretty
Yeah, it
great.
is. Yeah, I'm kind of
And it's a
amazed because
song.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go. No, I was just going to mention that Frank even says that that's not a song that was played in the store. They did it just for that show,
Yeah.
and it sounds great.
Mm.
Yeah, that sounds like they really know it. And it made me think, well, hey, this is probably one of the first generation of Frank's bands that were Frank Zappa fans, coming in.
Mhm.
And they were able to just set up and say, okay, Stinkfoot, because Stinkfoot is, it's pretty much just a blues tune, as we know from the I'm a Rolling Stone stuff. But there's all these little interjections that go on.
Yep.
And
Yep.
those guys they just roll with that stuff. They flow with it. And that was really impressive. And it's indeed one of the best Stinkfoot solos. And believe me, I've heard many, as I'm sure we all have.
All right, there have been so many shows that have started with Stinkfoot as well, and I'm so
Yeah.
glad that this is one that doesn't have the poodle lecture on it.
Yeah, thankfully no.
I have
Well,
to change it to
this
the pumpkin lecture or something.
I do really like the version on Zagreb Ljubljana 1976, which has the poodle lecture, but Frank's guitar tone in 1976 was sick. It was
Yeah.
one of the most aggressive tones he ever had, and so I was just gonna mention that. Yeah, Stinkfoot is fantastic. I see that Johnny has mentioned "Take Your Clothes Off When You Dance," which is another Halloween exclusive song, and it's a pretty weird arrangement too, because I don't think I've ever heard another version of it with that sounds like that. The twist version.
Yeah. And I do like how we get a lot of early Mothers stuff here. Like Idiot
Mhm.
Bastard Son, sung by Frank, with Arthur Barrow on acoustic. Like that setting makes it sound more like the album version to me. And, as much as I love Napoleon Murphy Brock singing it, I think he probably sings the best versions of it. It was just nice for me to hear something that, wow, that's actually really close to the We're Only In It for the Money version. Yeah, this is an incredibly special show, and it as kind of Johnny has also said, it makes me eager to hear the other shows, just to hear what other magic was lurking there.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, one thing I always think when I listen to those shows, I mean, I listen to the 1978 ones, the 1977 ones, the Halloween 73 and so on and so on. These people are presented very much new music. They are very much not knowing what, there's a lot of songs here that are not released yet.
Yeah.
I mean, Shake Your Booty is not out yet. There is Conehead is, that is You Are What You Is. So it's Suicide Chum.
Too.
Yeah. So people are very obviously going for new stuff and very, very, they're very responsive to new stuff. Even Bobby Brown at the time was a concert favorite, of course, but it was not. You couldn't go out in the store and buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Pontus, is that true that Bobby Brown is a hit in Sweden?
Yeah, it was a number one. It was a number one in Norway and a huge hit over here. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Oh god.
Yeah.
It's a nice melody though. It's like if you ignore the lyrics, it's like, oh, it's kind of a sweet.
It's very soulful.
It's a it's a 50s ballad. It's a sort of doo-wop thing.
Yeah.
I mean that album, Shake Your Booty, is very well. If I go out and I buy it and I find someone and ask them if they have any Frank Zappa albums, they probably have Shake Your Booty.
Yeah.
Oh.
They probably have Shake Your Booty, or they have Apostrophe and One Size Fits All, because those albums were big in Scandinavia as well.
Would you say,
So-
Bill?
I said I had heard many times that in Germany, Bobby Brown was very popular in discos, and people would slow dance to that song.
yeah.
Complete contradiction from the subject matter.
Well, it's not Frank Zappa, but my father told me that way back in the 60s, the song on the first Procol Harum album, you know, the slow one at the end, the one, what's the title?
Repent
again?
Walpurgis. Repent
Yeah,
Walpurgis.
that one came out here with the name of Fortuna, and people would slow dance and make out to it, and it boggles my mind that something like that happened, because it's one of the most macabre piece of music I ever heard in my life.
It almost
So,
sounds like a
I can't-
Sabbath tune or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, when they released the CD version once, they used the Italian cover for it, which was in pink. So I had
Oh, you mean the
Procol Harum
Procol Harum
yeah.
album? Ah,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think I've seen that, because I know them. I know them because of. I mean, I know who they are, but I know them because of Ian. I've never, dug deeper into their music aside from the first album, so I didn't know that the CD version. I mean, the Italian version had a different artwork.
Yeah. I really recommend the first 4 albums with
Mhm.
Robin Trower
With
on
Robin.
them.
Yeah. Those are the ones.
It's more like a British sort of pop, proto-prog sort of thing. But you probably, if you like Traffic, for instance, you would like Procol Harum.
Well, they're one of
there's-
Tony Banks' favorite bands. So I think if you like early Genesis, you would like Procol Harum. So back to
I highly recommend them. Because Esoteric recently released very good versions of them with a lot of extra tracks and things like that, and
you
use
can
the
see them
original
back there.
masters.
Look very closely.
Yeah, there's a
So,
wonderful tune on the first album called "Outside the Gates of Sardis," which I love a lot.
Oh, that's my favorite
Yeah.
song. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love the bass line of that, and I love the guitar. It's just I love that. It's just a classic. It's just a fantastic song. A deep cut indeed.
So back to H78 here. Johnny makes a point about the vocals being the weak point, and I would agree with that. And I thought we would just kind of open the floor to talk about this a little bit, because on one hand, I kind of like that Frank is singing lead on a lot of stuff, because my introduction to Frank was the Apostrophe and Overnight Sensation albums, and when I went back in the catalog, I thought, why isn't Frank singing more lead? I like his voice. On the other hand, it does mean that Denny Wally is singing a lot more, and I find him stronger as like a backing vocalist. Like, I absolutely love his contributions as Joe's mom on the Joe's Garage album. Like, he absolutely cracks me up. But I definitely agree, though, that that there's an Ike Willis sized hole in this lineup.
Mhm. Well, Danny Woolley, yeah, it wasn't the strongest lead singer in Zappa's bands. So hearing him taking the lead so much can be a little bit grating to my ears. I mean, on some of the songs, at least, he's okay on City of Tiny Lights, I guess.
Yeah,
I think he's terrific on that.
I think
it disappeared.
he's absolutely capable of that. But you also get a lot of Tommy Mars singing.
Hey.
You can
Yeah.
hear.
Which brings me to my question, which I actually wanted the opportunity to ask Bill about this, because I'm thinking if anybody knows, it's going to be Bill. Who's singing the Rollo section of "Don't Eat the Yellow Snow"? Is that Tommy Mars?
You know what? I'm not completely sure, but I think it is.
Yeah, because that whole thing just cracks me up. And as I mentioned to Jaco at one point, he almost sounds a little like Mike Keneally. And I was thinking, Keneally's not in the band yet. That's another 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, that style is very, very funny for me.
But on this version of Rollo, I can understand the lyrics much better than I could on "You Can't Do That on Stage Anymore" Volume 1.
Mhm.
And I
Good
enjoy
point.
that performance mostly for that reason, and of course everything else that happens during that performance.
Mm.
Okay, we'll just have to warn you here that my computer has gave up. So I'm back to the bad audio here. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, you see, it lost connection. It's an old computer, and I need to change it. So I'm stuck with that. I apologize for this, but it really is out of my control. It just won't work.
Mm.
So let me know if the audio is too bad, and I'll see if I can do something about that. But I'm at
You're
loss.
okay.
I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Yeah,
There's a lot
I
of
can survive with this.
All right.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's all right, man.
I think I was too close to the microphone earlier, so that's why it probably sounded bad. So I'm gonna try and do this. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to what we were doing.
So why was so Ike was fired for these concerts? Was he?
Yeah. He called in sick, and then they found him at the bar, basically.
Oh.
It was Gail. Gail Zappa found him at the bar, right? And said, "Hey, you shouldn't be here. You're supposed to be sick, man." But of course, all was forgiven. I came back. Weren't the Joe's Garage sessions like in the spring? So it's like it wasn't like he was gone for long.
Yeah, and he did the 79 tour, which was before the Joe's Garage sessions. So it was back as soon as the tour was over. Maybe Frank didn't intend to fire him forever, or I don't know what happens there. We know how he was fired, but we don't know how he came back.
Yeah.
And Ike was absent for 81, 82. It wasn't
That's
on that
right.
tour, but he was recording in the studio with Frank. So I don't know what happened there.
I guess it puts Ike in the same category as somebody like Jeff Simmons, who's like just kind of in and out. Frank's angry with him for a bit, and then he brings him back and he features him. And, it is kind of remarkable, though, that, after Ike would screw up so badly, that the next thing Frank did is he gave him the lead in the next album. That's a remarkable thing.
Well, there was a tour in between, so maybe Ike was in good behavior in that tour. I was thinking of someone like Napoleon Murphy Brock, which was back in the '84 band, and then he was fired because it was apparently was I don't know the specific details to it, but there were stories about him being unprofessional, missing sound checks, oversleeping, something that Frank Zappa would obviously not allow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Napoleon was also on some of the 1984 dates very early on the tour, and he left for, as far as I know, unknown reasons. But there's probably much more of a story there than we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let me tell you that I heard several of those shows, and I don't think Napoleon was fitting very well with the '84 band, and I don't think he sounded good either. I mean, in general, in '84, it didn't sound good in my opinion. So maybe it was something related even to that.
Yeah. I think he was having personal problems, and I don't know how far we want to get into that, but yeah, I think there was something going on in his life at the time.
Well, he's writing a book, I think, so we will find out eventually.
I saw Napoleon with CPC, Zappa Play Supper, in 2006, and he sang wonderfully. I mean, he was wonderful. So he picked up later on in his life.
Yeah, I did see some videos with the grandmothers too, and it was great. But in '84, it sounded terrible. I mean, out of tune, coarse vocals. I don't know what was going on there with him in '84.
He was in a bad way. But I think one of the most interesting things is that we have two bass players on this recording.
Oh yes,
we have both Barrow and we have O'Hearn. And I can't. Can you hear the difference between them because I can't.
Yeah.
Somebody's playing fretless, I think.
Yeah,
I think
O'Hearn is playing
O'Hearn's
fretless,
playing
yes.
fretless, yeah. And it's
Oh.
very rare that they're playing at the same time. I think it's usually one guy picks up this section and the other picks up this other section. But if you listen to the beginning of Don't Eat the Yellow Snow, that kind of iconic bass line, I definitely hear two bass players there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's parts where their parts are orchestrated really well, and
Yes.
they really add to the sound. But yeah, they trade off a lot. And when I first found out that there were two bass players for that lineup, I was like, why? And but Frank had two, drummer and percussionist with Roxy and Elsewhere, two drummers and a percussionist. Or better yet, one drummer who doubled on percussion and a percussionist.
Yeah.
And two keyboard
And
players in this lineup too.
Keyboard.
There's actually a specific reason for Zappa having two bass players, because Arthur Barrow wrote a book about that, and he wouldn't mention who in the band, whose idea was, but apparently someone in the band hated him, and Arthur Barrow never refers to him by his real name. He calls him the leader of the Mean Girls. And he was very unhappy with how Arthur Barrow was playing, and somehow he and a few other guys convinced Frank that they needed a second bass player because Frank wouldn't fire Arthur. So Frank called back Patrick O'Hearn for the last leg of the tour.
Wow.
So that was instigated by someone in the band, and I think we know who that guy is. I don't know if we should mention that on the live stream, but the evidence points out to someone who plays keyboards and doesn't sing. That's the hint.
I see.
All right.
Yeah, well, that kind of leads into an interesting topic, like the two bass players, two keyboard players thing. I have always kind of had misgivings in regards to Tommy Marr's work, and this box has completely changed my mind on Tommy. Like, I'm astounded by Tommy Marr's now, and I would point to the Little House that's on the Halloween show, where he's playing Pontus, you were mentioning Rock and Opposition. This almost reminded me of a band like Present with that keyboard stuff and kind of Bartokian approach. And his voice coming in, he's mixing his voice in there. And one thing that always bothered me was like his synth brass tones, but I think I got it. Like in listening to this set, I think I got it. And what amazes me is that here we are in 1978 and Tommy Marr's sounds like he's from the 80s already. And that really impressed me. I also like how Peter Wolf is kind of balancing the Tommy Marr's isms by playing more straightforward organ. And I was reading a little bit about the Joe's Garage sessions, and obviously Frank understood this, and he was like, I got to have Peter Wolf for these Joe's Garage sessions because I need something more straightforward. Tommy Marr's can't sit there and just play like a country song or something like that. He's got to throw in all these embellishments. That works great live, but for this record, we need something that's more grounded. So yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about the two keyboard lineup, two bass player lineup, but I feel like it adds a lot of balance, we'll say, to the proceedings.
I think the whole 77, 78, 79 period, the arena band, if you would like to call it that, it's just interesting because of the sound of it. I mean, it's very keyboard based. It has this sort of, it has a lot of energy. It brings a lot of energy to what is happening. It's great energy in 77. It's great energy in 78 with these two keyboard players. I mean, he picked up, I mean, it was hard to replace George Duke, which did so much for Frank. And then you had Andrew Lewis, and then you had these two. And they very complemented each other.
You forgot Eddie Jobson.
Sorry, Eddie Jobson, yeah. And Eddie Jobson, of course, was a cross between George Duke and John-Luc Ponty, right? He played the violin and
Great way to put it.
keyboards. Sorry, I forgot about Eddie. Sorry, but
Inexcusable, Pontus.
Yeah. The man who every time I think about two things when I think about Eddie Jobson. One is the story that Ian Anderson told about them ending the A tour by moving the keyboard a bit too far, and he having makeup on. And the other one is when he helps out on the USA record by King Crimson. And, and Robert Fripp goes in and says, so Edgar, you are come up to help us out. No, it's Edwin. I mean, Ed Jobson is a fantastic player. I mean, he absolutely. I mean, what a career that guy had with Roxy Music and UK and the Zappa things and all
Curved
that
hair.
stuff.
Yeah.
So absolutely. But these two complement each other very, very much as a duo. I mean, then we had the other duo, which was Bobby Martin and Tommy Mars in 82 and 81. So Tommy had something that Frank really needed. He had that sort of weird, little bit like Don Preston, I would say, that experimenting with synthesizers and doing new things.
Well, I think he was also supporting Frank's orchestral ear in a lot of cases, like the idea of taking the rock band, like rock band, and expanding it to a rock band orchestra. Instead of hiring 10 pieces or however many, he could just have Tommy Mars doing all this stuff. And your mileage may vary, but I like the idea of it.
The middle section of Easy Meat, I think that's what you're thinking, right?
Oh yeah, that's impressive. So we did have a couple of questions here from the comments, and this was like a half hour ago. Z says, "What about the highlights edition? Is it enough? The box set is so expensive." And I just happened to look at the track listing of the highlights edition, and it's missing all of my favorite stuff. So I'm going to say no.
It's like Frank Zappa best of, but I mean best of not really intended as. Yeah, it's like greatest hits live. No, skip that. No, skip that. About this release, but I didn't buy the box set. I bought it digitally, which is much more affordable. So if you want to buy it, you can go that route too. But I think you're missing out with the highlights edition. There's really no reason to get that one.
Yeah, I agree. And I also agree with your point about the downloads. There's so many fans that I know cannot afford the boxed set. I understand that. With the other Halloween boxes, I was in the same court, and I bought the downloads, and I treasure them to this day. So the highlights ain't bad, but it ain't great.
Yeah. It's for the casual
kind of missing
fan,
all the special stuff.
Yeah, it's for the casual fan, but then why a casual fan would want Halloween '78 anyway? I mean, it really has no point of. One thing I wanted to mention very quickly was that one of the reasons, I mean, us in Europe resort to downloads is that there seem to have been some distribution problems with this one. One of my friends in Italy has ordered the box set back then, and he hasn't received it yet, and he has no updates about it. So, yeah,
there was an email that just came out, and it mentioned something about people in Europe are going to be receiving their boxed sets either late in November or during December. So, yeah, I think either they fell into a snag with their distribution, or maybe they were not prepared with how many people actually wanted this box.
Because this is a problem, because all the other Halloween boxes was released to stores, right? Now it seems like Universal has that Discovery website where they want us to go and buy the stuff, and I don't know about, buying it from the US and getting to Sweden. It's like paying for 2 boxes, right? The shipping is so absolutely bonkers. So what I tried to do was to go through the European site, but that is also a bit, it's a bit costly, because now when I looked at the site yesterday, because I wanted this for Christmas, and I've been listening to the high risk things, right? So I wanted this for Christmas, but it's not there anymore. It's on the Zappa website, but it's not on the U Discovery set anymore. So I don't know what's happening really. Maybe Universal.
I think I might be mistaken. I may be mistaken here, so don't quote me on this. But I think Joe has mentioned costume problems in the Hoffman forums. Costumes. There seem to have been problems with the costume. I don't know the specifics of it.
Well, why don't we have a downsized, just CD version? Just saying.
Well, in my opinion, and I think my friend Eric, who you met on the last time you were here, has pointed out that the real thing driving the cost of this box set is not the costume, not the mask or anything. It's the booklet. The booklet is very luxurious, and
It is.
and a very special thing indeed. But you could make the argument, why didn't they just press it as the booklet? I don't know. I mean, I will say that the mask is higher quality than the previous editions. Like, I don't feel like I'm holding a cheap thing, so I appreciate that. But I don't know. I guess they just figured that people who really want it are going to drop the money on it, and people who don't, they've got other options. There's streaming, of course. There's the high res download thing. And there's the highlights discs. So I don't know. I ended up going for it. I did the deal where I got the other 2 sets, as part of a discount, which I don't think is available anymore. I think they sold out of the 81 sets.
So which ones did you get?
I got 73 and 81. I don't have 77. I think that one is gone forever.
Yeah, too bad.
I would love to see a CD version of that.
Of the 6-show version, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if Dylan could do it,
yeah, because I think as far as 1977 goes, the 30th of October show is much better than the Halloween one. So yeah.
I had the free CD version. I had the free CD version of that on CD. So and it's but that just listening to that run in a complete form is just fantastic. It's just you're going to shows that you would never go to. I mean, I was in 78. I was 6 years old, living in Sweden, in the south of Sweden. There was no way my parents would go to a concert, not alone a Frank Zappa concert, right? So being able to listen to that run and to these 2 concerts, it's just fantastic that it's out there. It sounds amazing. It's absolutely worth having the whole set, because you're in the room with the people and with Frank. And if you want to, it's like, let's say if you like Baby Snakes, if you want to be part of that, you will get an audio version of this in '78, and it's high. It's truly a highlight as a 5 CD set. So it's all worth it. But okay, one may discuss the packaging and things like that, but the content is just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have to say, no regrets in buying it. What's that, Bill?
It's all about the music. Music is the best.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's right. Don't you love the crowd reaction to
which
that?
is mentioned, of course,
Yeah.
in this set.
I love it when he does during Packard Goose, because this album's not going to be coming out for another year or so. And he does that statement, and then he says music is the best, and the crowd goes nuts. I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it was new music to them.
yeah.
I've always
I
found
think-
that song moving in a really strange way. So that just elevates it for me.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting is that the music for Packer Goes premiered on this tour, but Frank recited the lyrics way back in '75.
Is that right?
Yeah,
He had a different melody that he played with it, didn't he?
yeah. I don't think they had a melody. I think they were playing something like Any Downers, and he would recite the lyrics, the future lyrics to Packer Goes over that vamp. Yeah, that's incredible. It's incredible. But I mean, Frank worked that way. I mean, we mentioned this before, but even something like Dupree's Paradise, which was performed live almost nightly in '73 and '74, didn't appear on an album until The Perfect Stranger, and it was an orchestral version of it.
That has always made me wonder why that didn't make the cut for One Size Fits All, or the, he could have swapped the Bebop Tango and had Dupree's Paradise on there.
Roxy.
On the Roxy album, or he could have Rapunzel on the One Size Fits All. Instead we get two Sophists, right? So his mind must be, going at such a speed that it's incredible, because when people are buying One Size Fits All, he's really off to do Bongo Fury, and we all know what happened to the Lever album and all that, but at the same time he's doing these concerts with this new set of music. So people hasn't heard, they have heard certain things, but many songs are very new to them. And if they hadn't bought the New York set, I don't know when that was released. Was that in March 78?
Yeah.
That was in March 78. So people have, the latest release is actually Zappa in New York. So people know Honey, Don't You Want a Man Like Me. That's the newest song people know before going to the concert. And you get that statement from Packard Goose.
I think
it's just mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling to find out, that certain things later ended up at other, the dance contest ends up in Tinseltown Rebellion, and lots of those songs really, were kept for another project or for an idea, and maybe that idea worked later, and maybe
it's something about the medium not keeping up with Frank's creativity. I think his creativity was always one or two steps ahead of where recorded mediums were. And a perfect example of this would be like Inca Roads, which he tinkered with for a couple of years, and let it grow. And he let other people in the band bring in their ideas, like the George Duke solo and those kinds of things. And when is it ready to come out? When it's ready, when it fits. Johnny had a really interesting comment here. He says 2 more versions of Packard Goose from the Halloween '78 run, but the earlier 2 don't have the solo vamp. So the 1031 version is the first. and he must have written it that day or the day before. That is so fascinating because I love that. I love that vamp on the album too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some crazy Kula Yuta stuff going on the album version. It's there's on Arthur Barrow's book. He mentions that they were cutting the backing track to Packer Goose live, live in the studio, and he said it was counting and praying while Vinny was playing, because if Artie had left, has lost the beat, Frank would have made him start over again. So it was,
I hope that we eventually get this era as a box set, because I would really be fascinated to hear some of the Joe's Garage sessions.
Yeah, and we need a 79 show too, I think. The Hammersmith stuff. I mean, Joe has mentioned that it's even more problematic than the Halloween tapes, because it's Frank has completely cut up, the tapes, has shuffled them around. Yeah. But those are great performances, and I think we need an official release eventually.
Because they were always a highlight of the you can't do that on stage anymore. Even the sickness of the band or whatever it was, the introduction to that, and I mean, it's just an interesting, very interesting band, because it really gels with Ike back in the band, and
yeah. So is there a Halloween 79?
No,
there isn't. No, because that was when the Baby Snakes film premiered.
He wasn't touring in October '79.
Right.
Yeah.
He went back to the Palladium in '80, and those shows weren't great because Frank was sick, and he didn't keep the tapes. He did some mix downs of the stuff he liked, and he raised the multi-tracks. So unless they find the soundboard tapes that Mark Pinsky had recorded, there's never going to be a Halloween '80 box set.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Johnny says London 79 are the best sounding.
Yeah. Were there Halloween 82 or 83 or 84?
84. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't touring in October '82. He wasn't touring in '83.
Right.
The last Halloween shows he did were in '84.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're in the vault. One that I think is in the vault and will get released eventually probably is Halloween '72. Which has the only recorded evidence that Frank Zappa played Waka Jawaka live, the song.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's not a great version, to be honest with you, because it's very difficult to take it to the stage. But yeah, they performed it live, and it would be interesting to have that on a release.
Yeah, I'm always in favor of more Frank being released. Period. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I think I'm going to kill this whole notion that I don't want any new release. I think I'm just going to get them all. I've learned my lesson with 78.
Yeah,
Francisco Zappa box set.
Well, I won't. Maybe I won't go for the Thingfish box.
The whole sort of the whole look on the Synclivia sets would be interesting, because it's really it was his love at the end. It was, that's how he worked.
It was the only band that didn't talk back to him.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. That was the case. It really, he could really be the composer and the mad scientist at the time.
Yeah. It's probably the closest we get to what was actually going on in his head, what he could hear.
Yeah. I'm thinking that if he had, because he predicted actually streaming, He predicted streaming. He said that he wanted people to get dial up to a phone line and get music through the phone rather than having records. And that is what has happened now. And I think if he had a streaming service at a time, you know, we would have had those early versions of Inca Roads and Packard Goose the next week, right? Because he would probably fix that and really get it out there from his brain to his fingers, to the band, to the audience.
Yeah. So just kind of going through the set list here, one song that shows up that's a classic, and it's a really interesting arrangement, is Peaches and Regalia. And this arrangement is...
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm going to leave you for a minute, but I can hear you, so keep talking.
Okay. And obviously this is very similar to the Peaches 3 arrangement that's on Tinseltown Rebellion. So what do you guys think of this version and the way that it kind of evolved over the years?
I think it's a great live version. It's a great live arrangement. It really proves the band. It really proves what we talked about, the keyboards, the duo of keyboards, and the ensemble, really. Very well played, very well arranged.
Yeah, I like the way that they take the da 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 da, and they turn that into almost a shuffle near the end of the song. That you can't have a bad Peaches. It's hard.
No.
That.
And Vinny even nails that drum fill. That if you have the Hot Rats box set, you can hear that develop, which is really interesting. But that drum fill, I think, is iconic, and it's so important to that song. But man, Vinny nails it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like you want to sing along, like ha 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 ha, to it when it comes in. So it's like having a bit of a Martin Howard thing as well. When you hear it, you can actually hear that. You know, you can actually feel it. But I think it really shows.
Yeah, that's like me whenever I hear. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you hear.
Oh, I was going to say when they do Little House I Used to Live In, I hear the hoopla oink oink vocals. So I get that.
Yeah. But I mean, let's talk about El Shankar for a while, because that is just fantastic.
Oh yeah, the Bionic Parrot.
I've had way back in the past, I bought an album called Passion Sources, which was the incidental music for the Passion, the Lost Temptation of Christ that Peter Gabriel did. Passion.
Oh, right. That's one of my favorite films.
They released an album on Real World called Passion Sources, which has a lot of world music on it. And a fantastic track by El Shankar on it that is recorded in 91. It is some sort of around that time. I think Passion was 89, by the way. But around that time in the mid 80s, and it's all Indian music with violin, and I do think it is a ECM recording originally. But it proves, again, that this musician had that flow. And it's just fantastic. I don't know if anybody else have heard it. If anybody sees that Passion Sources CD, it's actually on, I think it's on some streaming services and YouTube and all that. Check it out, because it's very funny. It's very interesting. You get that Shankar track as well. So that is just fantastic, and of course he made an album with Frank
Touch Me There.
Touch Me There. Yeah,
Touch Me
that's
There,
the
yeah.
title.
Yeah. Have you guys heard that one?
Oh yeah.
Not in a long time. Is
There's
it good?
yeah, there's one of the best because Frank co-wrote a couple of songs on it, and there's a Zappa tune that almost no one knows about, which is called "No More Mr. Nice Girl," which every Zappa fan should hear. It's one of the most beautiful melodies
Yeah,
Frank ever wrote.
Whoa. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting to kind of look at these violinists that Frank collaborated with, you know, from Don Sugarcane Harris, Jean-Luc Ponty, Eddie Jobson, El Shankar. All of them complemented him in certain ways, and I think fit certain eras of his development. Like, you know, obviously Ponty fits kind of the more esoteric parts of Frank's musical personality. Don Sugarcane Harris is more bluesy and straightforward, but absolutely ripping. I think Shankar, and maybe it's just this particular era of Frank, I think Shankar fits Frank better than any of them. And it's sort of like, you know, we were kind of, oh, nice.
But he's looking for
Very
it.
cool.
There you go. That's fantastic.
It's sort of like the, yeah, that's a very hard to find record, isn't it?
I think it's one of those albums that you have to get on vinyl because the CD version was one of those Frank Zappa remasters from the 80s, and it's full of those, you know, digital problems, you know, reverb, the right channel fluttering. So you should get that one on vinyl, unless it was remastered after that, which I don't know if that's the case.
Not as far as I can tell. You're dead on about that. The CD sounded terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it's the only version I have.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Got to do a needle drop soon. A vinyl rip.
So who is on that record? Is there more Zappa alumni, or is it?
Yes and no.
Go ahead, Bill.
Phil Palmer plays mandolin, acoustic, and electric guitars. It's got Dave Marquis on bass. The incredible Simon Phillips on drums. Yes.
Cool.
James Lascelles on Fender Rhodes, organ, acoustic piano, and synthesizer. Jack Emblo plays accordion on No More Mr. Nice Girl. And strangely enough, it says vocals by Stucco Holmes on Dead
Who was that?
Which is actually Mike Willis and Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Van Morrison had recorded the original vocal track for that song, and the Warner Brothers wouldn't allow him to appear because you know, they didn't like Zappa very much.
However,
maybe it's because he said they suck.
Yeah, that did wind up on one of the downloads for the birthday bundle, the Anytime, Anything, Anywhere for no reason at all.
Yeah.
I've heard it. I've definitely heard that version.
I'll be honest with you. I prefer Zappa and Ike Willis version. Maybe because their vocals are more familiar to me. I mean, but it's great to hear Van Morrison singing a Frank Zappa song, though. That's not something you hear every day.
Van Morrison version of Montana. Where is that?
That would be wonderful.
Well,
and of course, I'm talking about the dental floss part. Pony.
I think the closest thing you can hear something like that is here's the kicker. I don't know which album is that, but there is a David Bowie produced version of "How Could I Be Such a Fool," and Bowie sings backing vocals on it. But I can't remember. I can't remember who recorded that, but you can clearly hear David Bowie backing vocals on that. That was done in.
Interesting.
Sorry?
That's news to me.
Yeah, I will find, you know, because I heard that CD at a friend of mine's house, but I know it's out there. It was recorded in '74, around the time Bowie was doing Young Americans, and So it's a kind of a soulful version of it, but I really can't remember who recorded that. But it's over there and it's legit. It was officially released too.
Could it be Luther Vandross?
No, it wasn't him.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but it wasn't Luther. I need to find that, but it wasn't released back in '75. It was released in the '90s. It was recorded in the '70s and released in the '90s. That's it.
Michael Dawson says Ava Cherry.
That's it.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Michael. Hi, Biffy.
Michael's good for that.
Yeah. So Z says we're gonna guess that he meant Halloween. What the Halloween was Frank thinking regarding those remixes?
I think his hearing was just degenerating, and he thought they sounded better. That's my because it's not really a problem of. I mean, some of the remixes are also pretty bad, but it's the mastering. It's all those weird equalization, the reverb. Those were signs that Frank's hearing wasn't doing too well.
Yeah, wear hearing protection, friends.
That begs for the remix of the complete Helsinki '74.
Yeah.
Sessions.
Now there's a smart man.
Concerts.
Yeah, I want to see if John is still here. I want to see his comments because he has very mixed opinions about that. So if Johnny, if you're here, type something because I mean because it basically thinks, and he's right. It thinks that it's best to hear unreleased stuff, completely unheard stuff from that tour. But we now have a few shows from that tour, so maybe it's time to do Helsinki after all.
Yeah.
Because there was talk about this going that, you can't change the release stuff. And then they started doing that. So perhaps we can have more remixed stuff. And as you say, we can get an 82 concert and maybe even an 84 box that could be better mixed. I think a lot of that, well, there were bad sounds in 84, but if you used modern day technology, it maybe sound better even.
Yeah.
Well, you
Craig
have
Parker Adams seems to,
the Spence Chrysley. I mean, the Spence Chrysley remix of "Does Human Belong in Music" does sound pretty swell, actually, because that album was released in Europe only, and then when it was released worldwide, it was a remix, and it's a great sounding remix. I would love to have an 84 release, actually, because I mean, it's not Frank's best band, but it's one of the funniest one, and they could sing. Oh God, they could sing.
I was going to say, great vocally. Yeah. It would be a nice contrast to the 78 set, which is a bit vocally deficient. It would be great to have like a really nice full flight vocal show. Now, Johnny's mentioning Mother's Day.
Vocals. I love being able to hear Frank all those vocals.
Yeah,
I do too. Yeah, I do too. And the vocal issue has grown on me with H78. And granted, I've heard it 3 times now, which is a lot to hear a 4-hour show. But I'm starting to kind of get used to like Denny Wally singing certain songs, and it's kind of as I was going to mention earlier. He does great. I think Jaco mentioned he does great on City of Tiny Lights, and I think that's because Adrian Belew sang that originally, and he was kind of doing a bluesy homage. Anyway,
well,
that's kind of Denny's sweet spot.
It was written for Ray White, that song, who is a much better vocalist than either Adrian or Danny, especially.
Really?
Yeah, you get a version of
Tiny
that.
Lights was written for Ray?
Yeah, you get a version of that on Philly 76.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I need to go back and hear that.
Oh, you absolutely do.
Stage 5.
Oh, yes. but that was later on.
Yeah, racing's the
But
out of that song.
by the way, one thing that we should that I should mention is that since we're talking about Halloween, Philly 75 was recorded like the 29th of October, I think, and it's the show Frank recorded instead of Halloween 76 because I think there were union problems because it wasn't at the Palladium, it was at the Felt Forum. So we're not going to get a Halloween 76 release either because the tapes do not exist. We only have audience recordings. Yeah, we have audience recordings of that, but not. I don't think they were professionally recorded or even soundboard recorded. So unless something miraculously turns up like the Carnegie old tapes, I don't think any of that is ever going to be released.
So what's Johnny talking about with the Mother's 74? The Mother's Day 74. I don't know what that is.
It means that that's the show he wants the most from 74 before we get to Helsinki. And yeah, I would love that show too. That's the Edinburgh band. So, it's good.
Yeah. One of my favorite Zappa shows. And I know it's one of yours as well.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's my that and Palladium 73 are my favorite posthumously released Zappa shows.
Cool.
There's another thing I would like to see. I would like to see finally see the Australian 73 shows.
Yes,
really, because it has arrived in small pieces throughout, and I missed out on that Crux of the Biscuit album, so I don't have the Yellow Snow version. I can listen to it any time I want, but it would be great because I've heard one of the shows, and I've heard this wonderful version of Shanga's Revenge, and it was so good. And then I realized it was the wrong speed.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So oh, he's really frantic today, right?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about because the first time that show was on the net, someone changed the speed of the recording without changing the pitch, so everything is at the correct pitch and it's super fast. I don't know why they did that. Well, since we're deviating a little bit, I think the one show that I want the most is Royal Albert Hall 1969.
Yeah, the 69 box set would be great.
I want more stuff from the original Mothers. That's my top priority. Yeah,
I love the Whiskey A Go Go set. I think it's just fantastic.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible to again to hear a whole show from that period, to see what happened. I mean, we can't get the Garrick Theatre because I don't know how much was recorded or anything was recorded.
None.
But
there's video footage, isn't there?
They couldn't afford to do it.
Yeah. I thought there was video from the Garrick.
Yeah, but not with no audio.
8mm, 8mm movies.
Yeah.
There are a couple of shows in. I think there are a couple of shows in Sweden actually from '67 that are in the vault.
Yeah, the radio show is.
Oh yeah, and I think we have all that was recorded or was preserved at least. I know the one that's in the vault is from Denmark. Sorry, it's not from. It's from the day after that show.
Yeah.
It's the show from which Frank took Ian Underwood. Ian Underwood whipped it out on Uncle Nate.
Because that was the one they lost their gear, right? So they had to play on borrowed gears, and they had to play because they all the electronics were missing, so they had to play an acoustic sort of show. And I had heard that also on a tape, and it's very sort of because I understand a bit of Danish, so this guy goes on stage and presents them, and he says, well, they're here, but they had a problem with the gear. So all the electronics is missing, but they're going to play anyway. And I think we can manage that. And someone in the audience like, that's what we came for. You can hear them shouting in the audience. And you can hear some, and Frank goes on stage and says, I don't know about why this driver drove the wrong way. Maybe he doesn't like our music. So that's the beginning of that show. And yeah, you're right. And there's another snippet on stage 6 from that.
Stage 5, yeah.
Stage 5. Sorry.
Yeah.
Where's our equipment? Yeah.
The audience tape has the only recorded live version of Jelly Roll Gumdrop too.
Ooh.
So it's really interesting as a tape. I think Joe has mentioned that sound quality of it is not too good, but it's one of those cases where I would release it either way because it's too unique.
So what do you think they're going to do for the Freakout 60th anniversary next year?
Hopefully they will freak out.
No idea.
Mono mix, maybe.
Ooh, that would be nice.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a surround mix of it.
I don't know
Wouldn't
if all
that
the
be
multi-tracks exist because Frank never remixed the full album. Only some of the tracks have been remixed.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
So which tracks didn't he remix?
I have to check, but I opened the thread on the Offman forums where I compared every mix of the original MGM Mothers albums, and some of the songs on Freak Out on the remix are actually equalized version of the original stereo mixes. I think Ain't Got No Heart is one, and Trouble Every Day is another one. So I don't know how much of that survives on the multi-tracks. I think what we're going to get is, I hope what we're going to get is Fillmore 66, because they have some more material that hasn't been released.
Yeah, that would be some of the earliest recordings they've released, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that would be fascinating. And you know me, I want a Bongo Fury set. To have a full Beefheart show would be incredible. And again, with the whole multi-channel aspect of it, the opportunity to have anything Captain Beefheart in surround, I'm all for.
Bill, did you ever do a special video about? I mean, do you collect Beefheart on vinyl in the first place?
Yeah.
And you ever did something on a presentation?
I really should. So I'll take that into serious consideration.
Yeah, do that, man.
Yeah, because I don't have everything. So first, I'm gonna do a quick scan and make sure that I can get everything together, and then do whatever I can. But
yeah.
Thanks for the suggestion.
Yeah, we'd love to see that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a couple Beefheart on vinyl. I've got Trout Mask. I've got Dock at the Radar Station, and I've got Shiny Beast.
I have a
think
picture
Bongo
version
Fury
of.
too.
I have a picture, a colored vinyl version of Shiny Beast. I don't know if that's official or not, and it sounds like shit. So,
all right, sorry.
That's the only Beefheart vinyl.
I do think I do only have the first one, Safe as Milk.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Sadly, but it's a great one. It's
one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
I have to go feed a cat, so hold on.
Oh, it's leaving us in charge again. Hey, let's nuke the stream. Let's do something that he will regret. I don't know if we can.
I don't know.
How long did you collect Bill Zappa? What was your? How did you come into it?
Well, I had heard like a couple of songs either from
What the hell was that?
station or Apostrophe on the radio, and I mentioned to a friend of mine, I gotta buy those records. I like Frank Zappa stuff, and he says, "Ah, that stuff where he's singing, that's horrible." Says, "I'm gonna loan you a Zappa album that you're gonna love," and he loaned me Uncle Meat,
Oh, yeah.
and from there on, I was incurable. I just I allowance, lawn mowing money, anything that I could get to buy something of Zappa's, I went ahead and did it, and I've just been so extremely hardcore ever since.
Yeah. Did you see him?
7 times.
Oh, cool.
Damn it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I interviewed him twice. One of those interviews is up on my channel, Bill's Box of Sound. And
Yeah.
the other interview, for one reason or another, accidentally was not recorded. I had to write the entire article that I did for it out of memory. And that was
Oh,
tour. But
when was that?
hard way
Those
tour.
interviews?
Pardon?
What years was that? What year was that?
I talked to him in '84 for the Them or Us tour, and I
Mhm.
talked to him in '88 for Broadway the Hard Way.
Could you sense
And what years did you
between-
see him? Oh, sorry. Go
Um,
ahead, Pontus.
That's okay. I started let's see. First time I saw him was in '76. That was with Eddie Jobson.
Mhm.
And I saw him in '77, in '78, 2 shows in 1980, 2 shows in
damn.
'84, and then I saw the '88 tour in Cleveland.
Mm.
How old were you in '76?
In '76, I was still in high school. I was like 15, 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 3 when Frank Zappa died, so no dice there.
All right. I was
So-
20.
So
I was
Bill,
21.
if I understand correctly, did you see this band, the Halloween 78 band, or did you see them with Ike?
I apologize for all the ringing sounds in the background. We're getting lots of spam phone calls today. So I saw him on October 1st of '78.
Oh wow.
And Nick Willis was in that band. It was Frank, Ike, Denny Wally, Tommy Mars, Peter Wolf, Ed Mann, Vinny, and Arthur Barrow. He had the just Art on bass on that one. But yeah, I saw him October 1st of '78.
That's cool.
Wow.
Wow.
What was the audience like? What people did show up at those concerts? What kinds of people? Because that is quite interesting to us that we didn't live it.
Yeah.
So it was very fun, you know. Were there, you know, someone said that some people went one day, they went to Frank Zappa concert, then they went to Ted Nugent concert and Fleetwood Mac concert. Everybody used to went to all kinds of concerts. But I do think, you know, he must have had a certain audience that was devoted.
He had an extremely varied audience. There were people that thought he was that he was into drugs and all this crazy stuff, and they wanted nothing but the scatological or sexual component of it. And the very first concert that I saw in 1978, the hall that I went to, Public Hall in Cleveland, they had just had some renovation work done. And while the balcony seats were all fine, the floor seats, there were no seats. It was general admission, and there were no actual seats to sit down on. So people were pushing up against the stage. And I'm trying to enjoy the music. I was there specifically being a music nerd. And just loving everything that Zappa did. And there were just these people that were just getting drunk and or whatever, and just pushing up against the stage. So that was really strange for my first Zappa concert. And I specifically remember that for the encore of that show, he did a version of Stranded in the Jungle, which just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And was that with Ray White and who was the lady?
It was Frank, Ray White, Eddie Jobson, Terry Bozzio, and Patrick O'Hearn.
So no Lady Bianca.
So she was out.
Right, it was after
Bianca was out at that point.
Yeah, I was thinking that this kind of thing you described there reminds me that in the 70s, and maybe even later on, concerts could become dangerous actually. Because I think something like that happened with the Who in Cincinnati, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Died because of that incident with the Who. But as the years went on, people got more and more serious about Frank, and a lot of hardcore music fans were filling up the audience. And just each time that Frank played, it was just a great reuniting of all these people. You got to meet so many more Zappa fans.
You definitely feel that in the Halloween shows. Like it feels like a family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I wanted to mention is that Ian and I often refer to those particular Zappa years, like 78, 79, as Frank's bitter years, because he was angry at the Warner Brothers, and but he sounds incredibly happy in the Halloween run. I mean, that's he sounds at home. You don't get that on this release.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I still love this era, even if Frank was always pissed off and he had that kind of attitude. But this particular, I try to remember where I read that, but I think there was an interview from somewhere where they asked Frank what was his favorite thing in the world. And he said the New York Palladium audience.
But he was
I think sorry, go ahead.
What I was thinking in 78, 79, he was sort of at the end of a road, in a sense that he didn't have a record company. He was going to form his own. He was going to have a distribution with CBS. And then he sort of figured it out, but he had been with Warner for ever since 68 or something like that. So he was, finding out, I think, what the next step would be. And then we got the Mailer Woodard thing, like shut up and play your guitar things. And
well, I think that when he finally got free of Warner Brothers and truly became independent, he found out that his fans were hungry for anything that came out of him. So that was liberating to him. And now we've got this immense galaxy of Frank Zappa music.
Yep.
Well, guys, I don't know how much longer we want to keep going today, but it is approaching my lunchtime. Was there anything else we wanted to talk about with Halloween 78? Was there any other questions from viewers?
And then the awkward silence.
Any favorite jokes?
Sing.
Well, we'll take that silence as a cue, I think. What was that, Jaco?
My favorite joke is on the show number 1. I don't know if I can repeat this here if you want to monetize this video, but it's during the dance context when I'm going to say that when there's the guy that keeps saying, "I'm not queer, I'm not queer," and Frank goes, "Hey, it's New York. You can be as queer as you want."
Yes, yes.
I think that's quite politically correct, actually. I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it was fun today. Thanks for
Absolutely.
joining me. And hopefully we can do this soon. Now, how likely do we think we're going to get another release before the end of the year? Do you think this is it?
Oh, there's nothing else is coming out. I know that for sure. But I mean, I know that
Okay.
they wanted to do more, and you know, I don't know what's coming for next year. I personally, I'm with you. I would love to see a Bongo Fury box set, but I don't know what the status of that is.
I think it would have been announced by now if it was coming out before the end of the year, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot of stuff this year. I mean, it was better than the past year, so
yeah.
We can probably wait a couple of months.
Release? Let's
this
see.
year?
We had Cheaper Than Cheap. We had One Size Fits All. We had Halloween '78. Is there anything I'm forgetting?
I don't know.
Nope,
I don't know.
Was Apostrophe was last year?
Last year, yeah. I think my favorite is One Size Fits All. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I think I would go with this, but Cheaper Than Cheap goes second. I think that is wonderful. I mean,
I'm in total agreement on that.
Halloween, because you get to see these people play.
Cheaper Than Cheap. Yeah. Well, they have all three releases are incredible, and it's stuff we've been waiting for years. So it's, I mean, here you can only go with your favorite as opposed to the best one, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're all great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I love One Size Fits All for the Atmos mix of the album. I think that's spectacular. And as a surround sound nerd, I might even say that's my favorite Atmos mix of the year. It actually rules out over several Steven Wilson mixes for me because that thing is just incredible. It was made for surround. But I think Cheaper Than Cheap might be my favorite just because this is a release that we hadn't seen or heard much of anything from prior to this.
Nothing.
And
I know. Nothing. Something. Apostrophe on the Zappa documentary.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And if you saw the hologram Frank tour, which is what the shirt came from, you did see a little bit of the performance from that. But no, what I liked about that is that it was something completely new, number one. And number two, that revitalized my interest in Frank Zappa. Not that it had fallen by the wayside much, because, I mean, obviously I bought Apostrophe, I bought Overnight Sensation, I bought The Whiskey Show. But that just like opened my mind to Frank's possibilities as a guitarist and band leader. And it kind of made me hungry again in a way that I hadn't really been like a super fan since my high school days. So Cheaper Than Cheap made me fall in love with Frank's music all over again. So I think that's my favorite. But we'll say that this release, Halloween '78, definitely needs a honorable mention as being the one that I think changed my mind the most on a particular era of Frank's music. So it's kind of hard. They're all really close for me. All right, guys. On that note,
now that they have, now they I would take everything that they are going to release, but now that the record plant sessions are out, I can't even. I have obsessed over them so much that I cannot obsess over anything else by Zappa. So I'm just gonna take what's next. I mean, Bill, you probably don't remember that, but every time that Joe was on your live stream before Funky Nothingness was released, I kept asking you to ask him about the status of the record plant sessions. To the point that Joe even wrote me an email when that was out. I mean, just to shut me up.
No, I don't remember that, but I'm glad he did reach out to you.
Yeah, and I love that. That's my favorite posthumous Zappa release, by the way.
Of all time.
Yeah, because I've been waiting for that for so long, and I think just on the basis of something like Twinkle Tits being included, but puts it in the top, over the top for me. But yeah, that one. All right,
guys. Well, thank you again for joining us, and it's been a real pleasure and real fun talking with you. I want to thank everybody who's joined us in the comments and asked really awesome questions. I want to thank Pontus, Jaco, and Bill, and I hope. What do I hear? I hope we get together and talk about some Bongo Fury before too much longer. So take care, guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
All
And
right.
for those of you watching,
you guys.
thanks. And don't forget to subscribe to Bill's Box of Sound. And when Pontus and Jaco get their channels, subscribe to them too. Take care, everybody.
Absolutely. See you later.